we created this AI agent that will look at the ads from our competitors and come up with ideas of new ads that we called produce automatically. And again, we have these systems running in the background, and that's why we are producing so many ads. If you go look at our Facebook ads library, you'll see that we have a ton of ads being created all the time. And we basically created this internal AI agent and then paired it with ARC to generate the video ads for our own marketing. I think we have over 1,000 Slack channels with our top customers. And like basically that's constant information on how to improve the product from the most engaged customers. And that's been the most valuable thing you can imagine.
If you were starting again today with a blank laptop and knowing everything that you know and, having all the wisdom that you've gained throughout the process of growing ARCADS and a fractional budget, let's say $500, what would be your 30-day distribution sprint to get your first paying customers and to basically grow your tool from scratch? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Evergrow Show, and today's guest is the living proof that with creativity, focus, and determination, a tiny team can outdistribute any massively funded and overstaffed corporation. Romain Torres is the founder of ARCADS AI, an AI platform that creates high-converting UGC-style video ads. Romain is a growth architect who scaled his business from 0 to 13 million in ARR in just 18 months with zero funding and a team of only 5 people. ARCADS is already used by top media buyers spending over $100 million a year, and chances are if you've scrolled TikTok or Instagram, you've probably seen ARCADS AI ads. Romain did not do it with massive hiring or fundraising rounds. He did it with an agent army of 100+ AI agents and a relentless focus on programmatic distribution. If you want to know how to find your first 100 customers or compete with the largest companies in the world and how to build a distribution engine that runs while you sleep, this episode is your blueprint. Romain, welcome to Evergrow.
Hey, Philippe, thanks for the intro.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to dive right in. So you have just raised a seed series round and you guys have been experiencing absolutely massive growth over the last year or so. I would love to hear about some of the things that you are most excited about right now.
Yeah, great question. So I'm personally very interested in how AI will make content creation faster and easier. That's obviously my core focus and the thing I'm thinking about on a daily basis. And I believe that the same way phones made content creation a lot easier 10 years ago, AI will accelerate the production of content in every single area: music, video, text. So people are going to, we are going to live in a world where a lot of people are going to become content creators. And that's something that I find really exciting. I'm curious to see how that will impact even longer form production, movies, and on that's my probably the thing I'm mostly interested in right now. But on there are a lot of other topics obviously where AI is gonna have massive impact. I think it will have a ton of impact on sales, and I believe there are a ton of opportunities to build tools on top of the latest AI models to help sales team being more efficient. The obvious use case of that was AI note takers. But I believe there is a ton of things that are going to be done in this area in the next few months. And obviously, then you'll have much deeper use cases for medicine and more advanced use cases. But hey, I'm just a marketer and I love these business-oriented use cases.
Absolutely agreed. I mean, we're seeing the technology proliferate into pretty much every area of our lives, both personally and professionally. And it seems like every single day there's some kind of new evolution or some kind of new impact. But, Just zooming in on the fact that you have notoriously used AI in order to really scale up ARCADs, can you tell me a little bit about your AI agent army that you've used to grow ARCADs? And I think specifically, which of these agents and which parts of this setup have been the most impactful in terms of saving time or money or producing general results and ROI for you?
Yeah, I think there are two areas, and actually those are the same areas I just mentioned. The first one is just content creation. So when you build a business, really there are two things you need to do well. You need to create a product, build a product, and then you need to market it. And one of the best way to market a product is to create content on social media. When you are just starting out and you don't have a ton of budget, you can just go and start creating content on whether it's LinkedIn, it's Twitter, X, it's Instagram, depending on how comfortable you are with your camera. And now even with AI, you don't have to be good at camera to create an Instagram account. You can just generate an AI influencer and start talking about your product. But now the challenge becomes, how do I write very good ideas that will have high chances of going viral? Because obviously it became much easier to create content with AI, but it's also much more competitive to create content. And for me personally, Twitter was a big channel to grow Arcade. So I was looking for ways to produce more content on X. And we built some AI agents that will basically scrape at the content that is performing right now and repurpose that into new ideas that we could be posting about. Um, and that had a massive impact on our content strategy. So that's the number one thing I think had the biggest impact. The second one was ad creation, but in a more automated way. Again, with tools like Arcads, you can create assets much faster, but you still need to get good ideas of which assets you are trying to produce. So we created this AI agent that will look at the ads from our competitors and come up with ideas of new ads that we could produce automatically. And again, we have these systems running in the background, and that's why we are producing so many ads. If you go look at our Facebook ads library, you'll see that we have a ton of ads being created all the time. And we basically created these internal AI agents and then paired it with ArcAds to generate the video ads for our own marketing. This is the number one area where I use a ton of AI agents. And the second area is sales, basically helping some of our highest potential clients use the platform more and scale the account.
And I love founders that drink their own champagne, so effectively use their own tools to power their growth. And I think that's actually the best case study that anybody could ever have, which is everything that you see being done in this company is actually powered by our own products. And I think that's extremely impressive. And speaking of impressive use cases, are there any use cases or case studies that stand out to you of folks that have been successful with ARCADs in growing their businesses?
We have a ton. And to your point, yeah, I definitely agree. That's probably one of the best ways to grow any business. Even like the way we had the idea for Arcads was that we were running a lot of ads before creating the platform. And we were just discussing this before the recording, but working with creators to produce UGC videos is very time consuming and tiring sometimes. So we knew the pain point very well. And that's how we got the idea, just basically solving our own pain point and building a tool that would help us create more ads faster. So yeah, I think that's kind of a hack to get to product market fit faster, just building tools for yourself. This way you are not too much biased. And then as quickly as you can, you also need to sell it to customers. And actually one of our first customers, they founded an app called Learner. It's a language learning app. Introduced them with the platform maybe 1 or 2 months after we created it. So in January 2024. Now we are in January 2026. So it's 2 years ago. From there, they've scaled the part of AI generated content in their ads to almost 100%. And now if you go to their Facebook ads library, you'll see that their ads are all AI generated, and most of them are created with ARC And you can also see the revenue number of their apps. So it's a mobile app studio. They own multiple apps, and Learn, the language learning app, I think scaled from 0 to almost 10 million in monthly revenue. So it's like huge number. From the public data that I see, obviously I'm not telling any like private information since I actually don't have it, but on the public data that I saw, most of their acquisition comes from Facebook ads that they generated with ARC ads. That's like basically the living proof that someone can scale a business to a huge, huge scale, only relying on AI generating ads. And these companies are the early adopters of this technology. Obviously, the bigger company are a little bit slower to adopt AI for creative production. I think they'll get there, and they are getting there already. We're already signing deals with massive like brands who make like campaigns to promote their product. But the real early adopters, the ones that spend the most time on the platform today, are still performance marketers, people who really put performance before brand. And yeah, these guys like crushed it, and we have many, many more examples of companies scaling to huge numbers using AI.
And I love seeing that as well is having brands grow alongside the tools that they're using to power their growth. And it almost becomes this kind of like design partner relationship, right? Where they're using the tools, they're getting the results, they're giving the feedback, you're reincorporating that feedback, and you're effectively using their trialing and their experimentation to become the best version of this tool, and then hopefully get used to replicate others' success when they look up to and aspire to to perform like those brands. So just a
100%.
beautiful
I have
story.
stopped counting, but I think we have over 1,000 Slack channels with our top customers, and like basically that's constant information on how to improve the product from the most engaged customers, and that's been the most valuable thing you can imagine.
Are you guys using AI tools to process all of that feedback and somehow make it, kind of systematize it into a product roadmap?
Yeah, that's exactly one of the AI agents that we have built actually. So when you join a call, we'll have those note takers that will like record the information and like organize everything. So we built an AI agent that takes the summary from these note takers and organize them into like a weekly summary of all the calls we had with like the most requested features, with some ideas for new opportunities, and that's been super valuable to the product team.
That's beautiful. Literally living and breathing and eating your own dog food, and this is the way that companies are grown successfully. You've previously mentioned that execution is the only differentiator. Now, interesting question, but let's just say a competitor clones all of Arcad's core features and they launch a copycat product. What are some of the unclonable parts of your distribution engine that will always keep you ahead of your competition?
Yeah, I can talk about it a lot because it happened so many times. You cannot imagine how many people, because I'm very public about our numbers, so you cannot imagine how many people basically clone the website, sometimes using the same name, sometimes using the same video, sometimes using the exact same user interface, which I mean, I fully understand. And um, again, I still believe that the main differentiator in today's industry is like speed of execution. Um, Probably every single day you'll have a new breakthrough AI model, whether it's for image generation, video generation, text to video, image to video, sound effects, voices. Every single day there is a new AI model coming out. And the number one thing we did very well is we built a product that makes it very easy to integrate all of these new AI models as soon as they get released. If you on the market, there are 3 to 4 main model providers who create those foundational video image models that that people use. And now there is Google with Nano Banana and Vio. There is OpenAI with GPT image generator and with Sora. There is Kling, the Chinese, who created Kling 2.6, which is a crazy good model, Kling Motion and other AI models. You'll also find another Chinese company, ByteDance, that's gonna do some other AI models. So you will have like 3 to 4 main AI model providers and some independent providers like 11 Labs for voices. We had very good relationships with all of them, and we also made it very easy to integrate into the product to have all of these tools. So to the point where now, if a model gets released today, you can be sure that if it's a model that will have an impact on the users, it's going to be live in the product in the same day. And now users will be able to use these AI video models. But that's a very, like, again, that's not a product kind of differentiator. It's more of an execution play, which again, I feel is probably the most important in our space. But then on the longer term, obviously, I believe that the same way recommendation algorithm became a huge part of the growth of content online. So I was reading a book on like the success story of YouTube recently, and their main KPI was watch time of the content on YouTube, because if people watch content on YouTube, then it means that they will see more ads. And then with the ad revenue, there is more money to distribute to the content creators on YouTube. And then content creator will produce more and better content. And then there will be more content on the platform, and people will be using YouTube more and more. And it's kind of this flywheel of like progress for them. So the KPI was watch time. And the way they improved this KPI was through a recommendation algorithm. Now, if you come to YouTube, there is a very high chance that the video that they show you is the video that is the most likely to interest you at the moment where you log in, because it's the right time of the day, because it knows all of your interests and previous videos you watched. And then when you finish the video, it's going to suggest another video. And again, this video will be the most interesting video for you potentially in this moment, because they became very good at recommending content. And the same thing happened to short form video content with TikTok, Instagram Reels, etc. I believe that the same thing is going to happen on the creation side of things. So these algorithms were recommendation algorithms for content that was already produced. I believe we are going to live in a world where there are going to be generation algorithms that will automatically understand for your brand what is the content that is the most likely to perform and to increase your overall profit with paid marketing. And that's what we are building. And it's a much longer term play. It's going to take a while to get to the point where it actually drives better performances than a human. But I believe that's the direction we are going towards.
And that's super interesting. It seems like you've managed to build some really good moats, first and foremost with founder brand and just publishing really good content and getting that top of funnel attention. Then I think the relationship and partnership moat that you guys have managed to establish by having these good relationships with model providers. And these are both really interesting as sort of the input side of the equation. But I think what I'm hearing here is that you are now looking at the output side of the equation, and maybe somewhere down the line in the future, there's a deeper partnership with the distribution engines, with the Metas and the Googles of the world. So yeah, definitely really interesting insight, and definitely a space that I think folks should watch. If you were starting again today, with a blank laptop and knowing everything that you know, and having all the wisdom that you've gained throughout the process of growing Arcads, and a fractional budget, let's say $500, what would be your 30-day distribution sprint to get your first paying customers and to basically grow your tool from scratch?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I will replicate what we did at the beginning of Arcads. During the first 30 days, we only sent emails to potential customers and booked demos. Again, I would spend let's assume we don't have a product yet. I would spend the first days like looking at my own problems that I can solve. Ideally, I would try to think about things I'm already paying for, but I'm not happy with. That's a very good framework to find good ideas. So I'll find something that I'm paying for, but I don't like. So for us, it was UGC creators. We were paying for UGC creators, but it was a pain in the ass to manage them. Then I will think about like 10 people, and that's again what we did, who ideally I already know and face the same problem. And I'll email them and say, hey, we have solved this problem. And I will do a quick, like in the email, what we did at the time, I can tell you exactly what the email was like, but it was something like, hey, I know you do a lot of UGC content. I created this AI video, UGC video, took me 2 minutes. I did the link. And then I was like, we are going to release a platform to let you do that. Is this something you want to try? Something as simple as that. I sent 10 emails. We did the calls. And at the end of the call, if you already have a product, you need to have people pay for it. And you are like, it's not like, okay, I'm going to send you a link after the call or something. I just sent you a payment link, like pay for it if you want to use it. And then, only then you'll get the truth of whether your product is useful or not. And I'll be like, okay, if people pay, at least probably a third, like 30% is a good conversion rate. For us, it was insane. It was like something like 70, 80% of people paying during the call. And that's a huge indicator that you have product market fit. If you have 30%, it still means something. And I still believe that's huge. And then if you have less, probably you should be thinking about another idea or reframing the way you present it or having a different approach. But yeah, for 30 days, I will do only that.
Super impressive. And it's so funny to hear stories like this and then go on LinkedIn or go on X and, everybody's saying email is dead, DMs are dead, cold outreach is dead. And here you are basically saying that this would be your sole focus and this is something that has worked for your business. And not only that, you've managed to get some really insane conversion rates. What do you think the big differentiating factor is in cold outreach working or cold outreach completely failing and falling flat?
So for us, it was, I guess, easier because I emailed my personal connections who were already in the space. But like the email was super simple. It was really three lines. I would say, yeah, it's cheesy, but like, make something people want. The first line was, hey, how are you? Second line was, I know you are doing a lot of UGC. I made this one in 2 minutes with AI for you. And third line was, do you want to book a demo? And probably the 10 people responded. Like, obviously, it's not going to be the case if you reach out to people who you don't know. And if you don't know your target audience, might be a little bit harder at the beginning. But if you do 100 of these, which can be done quite easily now, if you spend like literally 2 days just like writing these personalized emails, super simple, super short personalized email, and you don't get like at least 10 calls, probably there is something again bad with your product. It's not about cold outreach. It's about how you providing value. If you provide value and you reach out to people, they will respond. Obviously, it's a whole different story. If you want to do 1 million cold outreach and then maybe you will go to spam and it's a whole technical thing. But except from that, if you do it manually with 100 people, then if you provide value, it will work.
And I think there's such a valuable lesson to be learned there. I think we're living in a world in which building opportunities are endless. And so you can really build anything that you can think of, but maybe folks should really focus on building something that's valuable for their network, such that they already have the warm connections, such that they already have, potentially built in users. Because if you have folks in your network that can use your product, those are doors that are much easier to open, and those are conversations that are much easier to kickstart, as opposed to building for a market where you have no network, where you have no connections, and all of a sudden, you have a cold start problem, and then potentially, have a problem with the cold cold outreach and reaching out to folks and getting them to pay attention. So definitely a
Definitely
really, really
easier.
good takeaway.
The doors are more open, and also you are more likely to solve a real problem. Uh, because if you already know them, it probably means that you've worked with them or that you are close to their pain points. So the solution you are going to offer them is going to be much more willing to get them interested.
Absolutely. 100% agreed. If you were to give some predictions or some recommendations for what you think is going to be the most impactful over the next, let's say, 3 years of growth and marketing, what do you think those would be? And what should founders coming into the industry today focus on in order to continue staying successful in the years to come?
So the initial phase of getting your first 10 customers will for sure be very different from the step that comes right after that, which is growing from 10 to 100 or 1,000 customers. And for this second step, I believe content creation is the single most powerful way to grow any product. And the reason for that is it forces you to formulate the value you are offering in a very simple and understandable way. If you cannot do that for your product, maybe your product is too complicated, or maybe it doesn't really bring enough value. Obviously, there are some exceptions with like some industries where the product is very complex. But for a lot of product, it's just about explaining it in a simple way. So what I did after this initial phase of getting the first 10 customers was, at the time I had 0 followers on X, but I forced myself to post once per week. I had this ritual every single day. After lunch, I would spend 30 to 60 minutes thinking about a post that would get some attention. And obviously, initially, I was having very few impressions, but the more you do it, the more you learn. And that's really the only way to learn a new skill, just posting and seeing what worked, what didn't. And that's helped me get my calendar full with new demos after I've completed like my whole network and reaching out to everyone I knew. Um, and yeah, that was pretty much all I did. So phase one was um, getting to 10, 20 customers by doing manual outreach. Phase two was posting content on X. And then on the website, when you wanted to try the tool, it was my calendar and it booked a demo with me. And then you can obviously scale much further, but you can get to $1 million in annual recurring revenue only doing that, only posting content on one social media platform where your audience lives.
That's such an important takeaway. And I hope if there's anything that folks took away from this conversation today is that consistency and showing up really do pay dividends. And the results won't be instantaneous and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you just stay consistent, you keep showing up, you keep experimenting, you keep testing, and you keep learning, things will start moving along and you will absolutely start to see it impacting the bottom line.
Yeah, 100%.
Roman, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. This has been an incredible conversation. I'm super excited to publish this out into the world. And if people want to follow your journey and follow along with your content, where should they look?
Yeah, I'm on X. I'm very active on X. So Romain Torres, or you can just go try arcades.ai on Arcades.
Amazing. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. And I am so excited to get this out into the world and give a ton of value and your wisdom out to all of the new generation of builders that are coming online.
Thank you so much, man.